Hello everybody, a very good afternoon to you all and welcome back to another Taurex live daily trading session here on Tuesday afternoon. Yes, it is Tuesday afternoon, getting my days mixed up. Very good to see you all in the Discord channel and also live on YouTube, and to anyone who is watching on catch up on it as well, because I know most people tend to watch it on catch up if you're not around when I'm actually live, which is fine. So it's very good to see you all, and I hope you are all having a fantastic trading week. It's been carnage, to be fair. Crypto is going mad, and in today's session we want to just have a quick rundown. If you missed Donald Trump's inauguration yesterday, where were you? First of all, because that is 100% the main talking point of this week, and he didn't disappoint, did he? With some of the things he was saying, and I don't think it really mattered what he said. I think the crypto guys, the crypto bulls, are very much alive and kicking, and we are seeing some really fantastic moves. As you know, I'm not a big crypto trader. I'm not going to lie. I'm very interested actually this year in getting involved in some cryptocurrencies. I'm just not someone who buys at all-time highs, unfortunately. But if I was going to do it, or when I do it, when I move away tomorrow, and I sort of set up my investments and stuff, I will be looking to buy and hold some cryptocurrencies, but for like a 10-year period. That's what I keep telling people. But other than that, I'm a trader, and we've had some. I'm on a really, really good streak at the moment. Actually, it doesn't always happen, but we've had some fantastic trades. I've only placed 3 trades this year. Oil, which we closed out at 4% profit, and I updated the trading journal. Also, I posted a trade idea on gold, which is still running fantastically well, and I'm net about. I think I've closed 1%, 1.5%, and I'm running another 2% at the moment, which is fantastic, which I'm really happy with. And also the S&P 500 trade, which spiked whilst I was sleeping overnight into my entry, and is also running really well. So yeah, it's been good, and it's been fantastic. Really, it's not anything that's say normal. I suppose it's me being humble, maybe, but yeah, it's going well so far this year. I seem to have I've got myself a good streak, but I'm trying my best not to be emotional about that, because I know that in trading losers come, and sometimes, or most often across the year, if you actually add up trades that I win versus trades versus I lose, I probably lose more trades than I win, but my risk reward allows me to still be in profit overall. So there isn't any update in the trading journal yet because my trades are still running, but I do want to give you an update on those trades, especially the S&P 500 one that got tagged in late last night. So if you do have any questions on the markets today, or anything that anyone wants me to look at, then feel free to let me know in the Discord channel, or ask the questions live on stream, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So if you did miss the inauguration yesterday, I've managed to find well, it wasn't hard, but I've managed to find sort of the top 5 points, and a recap of what he said and what were the main talking points of his speeches and everything of the day, really, in general. So just to give you a quick rundown of that, the Donald Trump promised that this is the beginning of a golden age of America. He opened his inaugural address by saying that the golden age of America begins with his return to the office. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected, he said in his speech. He also slammed the previous administration, terming it as a radical and corrupt establishment that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home. So he didn't mince his words, and that was apparently a reference to the LA wildfire crisis. He also mentioned about the assassination attempt and how he was saved by God. That was another one as well. The main one, really, and also one about the Panama Canal, the Gulf of Mexico, and Mars. He continued with his reiteration of the promises he made on his campaign trail that he wanted the Panama Canal under US control. He said, "We're taking it back," which I think is maybe why we saw a bit of a spike lower in risk assets in the stock market initially, which actually tagged me into my trade, funnily enough, which we'll talk about in today's stream as well. And also the two-gender policy as well, which, again, isn't really anything to do with markets, not anything that I really want to get involved in, to be honest. But this one here, where we've got a list of policy details. Most presidents don't get into policy details in their inaugural address, but then most presidents aren't Donald Trump, which is very, very true. He reiterated his campaign promises and listed down the actions that he would take in his first 100 days in the office. Now, according to the Republican, he would declare a national emergency at the southern border, something he did in 2019, and deploy national troops for immigration enforcement, an action that he promised on the campaign trail. He also said that he would sign an executive order to immediately stop censorship and bring back free speech in America. So, overall, it was a very much a Donald Trump speech, right? Didn't mince his words, very bullish in the things he was saying, and the markets reacted in kind. Let's look at that reaction. Sorry, excuse me. Let me just get the right thing up. That would help, wouldn't it? There we go. So, the thing that moved the most, which isn't really much surprise to anyone, is obviously this crypto market, which you can see. I don't know if people saw what happened with the Trump coin now. I think his holdings were like worth over 20 billion, which was incredible. And that really fed into a wider crypto run that we've seen over the last 48 to 72 hours. Let's look at Bitcoin. So, the start of that's the daily chart. Let's go on to the daily. Yesterday, we saw Bitcoin up quite heavily, right? And I mentioned in the stream yesterday that my concern was that when we came up and basically took out this all-time high and printed a new all-time high up at 109,000, 110,000, I wanted to see if we got a candle closure, a daily candle closure above that high. Well, as you can see in the chart in front of you, we actually got a liquidity grab. And this is potentially a short-term bearish sign. Now, it's not me coming on and saying that we should sell Bitcoin from here, because the market structure is still telling us that we're very much bullish, right? And we're looking like we may put some more pressure on there. But the more days that go by that we don't see a full body candle closure above this high, just reiterates the fact that this is potentially a liquidity grab. There would have been so many retail traders or retail investors jumping in on the crypto hype. And it is a hype, right? It's a Donald Trump hype. He does generally have a pro-crypto stance. We know that. But my concern was that a lot of this has already been priced in. Now, I do believe that, we will see Bitcoin up at 150,000 this year. I actually do believe that. However, in the short term, I'm just wondering whether we might seeing how today closes first, whether we get another candle closure below this low, which means that maybe over the next few days, we might start to see a rotation back down towards the 90,000 level, where I think we could potentially class that as a good buy the dip opportunity. Alternatively, as you can see, we're running really well, up 3% on the day. We may see a candle closure above this high, and we might then be able to use a simple, break and retest sort of strategy to look to try and trade this much higher. The XRP market as well, we see this sort of rejection wick really across the board. See that one there? But this one on XRP didn't really take out this high. It actually, for me, this looks very, very bullish. And if I'm looking for a market to really trade the bullish momentum, I think, in my opinion, XRP is a great one to have a look at. But the ones that I track, Quant, ETH, or Ethereum, Ripple, XRP, and Bitcoin, all of them are up on the day and showing generally what we're seeing in the markets right now is bullish sentiment. If there's any other cryptos that anyone wants me to look at, then please feel free to put that in the chat section. What I want to do now is show you the trade that I've put in the Discord channel yesterday. Was it yesterday I put it in? Yeah. Yesterday. There. You can see that. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. And I kept my buy limit in, even though, if I go back to the charts, you can see what happened yesterday was we had a breakout above this consolidation triangle pattern, which is a bullish sign for me. And then we got really close to my entry from this fair value gap and also the retest of this, and then traded higher. And then what happened is, overnight, 11 o'clock at night, whilst he was speaking, we saw a really positive sign for my trade, which was basically this liquidity grab of this low. The market came down, as you can see, this spike, this wick, it came down into beyond really this pattern, tested it perfectly, and since then has rejected in such a lovely way that I believe that we could now see a continuation of this move higher. Now, as per the rules of how I trade, and I did update the Discord channel, we are now trading at 2-to-1. At 1-to-1, I closed out some of the position, which I'll show you now for full transparency. So I closed out for 0.5%. I don't know if you can see that actually. There it is, S&P 500. Closed out for 0.5% profit there, which was really nice. Really happy with that. Now we're trading at 2-to-1. I need to think about whether it'd be sensible to move my stop loss to my entry, which I'm probably going to do. In fact, I'm going to do that now. So that's a new update. Modify position. 5,980. So my stop loss now is pretty much this. That's basically my trade, which means that I'm completely risk-free, which is one of the most powerful things you can be as a trader. Being risk-free is the most stress-free way in which you can trade the markets. Trust me. So we're going to roll with this trade, and we're going to continue to monitor its performance. But broadly speaking, I'm looking for a move up to 6,100. I think my take profit's at 6,099, and that's where I believe that from this move we may see in the next few days a move up to. So still got another decent amount of this trade to go, but initially, early stages, was just a really fantastic trade, which hopefully some people managed to benefit from. And if you did, feel free to reach out to me and let me know how you're getting on with that. I'm still rolling with it. Gold. Look at this. Absolutely buzzing with this trade. 10-to-1 risk reward is the take profit. I've closed out all of what I tell myself to close out, which is, half at 1-to-1, SL to entry at 2-to-1 with maybe take a bit more off as well, which I did because this was a 2% trade. And you can see we are on our way. Hopefully, we're at 5.6-to-1 at the moment, but we are potentially on our way up to a 10.5-to-1 trade, which, people will claim that they can do this all the time. It's not as easy as that, and emotions can get involved when you can see how much profit you're in and you can see how the trade's going in your direction. But I still remain holding this trade exactly as I was. Again, I will show you. Still holding that trade. So doing really well on gold. So I'm very, very happy with that. That's really the trades that I'm monitoring at the moment, to be fair. I just wanted to quickly point you in the direction of if you're looking to get in any more trades, we have now got our premium signals set up in the Discord channel, which are provided by Acuity, which is our partnership. And as part of our partnership, they provide a bout of trade analysis, a bout of trading signals with great detail in it, with your stop loss, your target, and when that trade will expire as well. So make sure, if you are a trader of any of these markets, Euro Australian dollar, Pound Australian dollar, GBP NZD, NZD yen, Euro Swiss, the US 30, and the Hang Seng as well, the Nikkei. There's loads of analysis in there to get stuck into. So what I might do in some of my live streams is really break down some of those trade signals. But yeah, you've got both options there. You've got my trade ideas. You've also now got Acuity trade signals going in there as well, and we'll continue to build that community as we go. So if you are looking and was waiting for those trading signals, I know some of you were, they are now live and they're going in there every single day. So feel free to come and join and get involved on that. The link is in the description. Okay. Right, we are on Tuesday, which means we do have some economic data that's come out today. Some employment data out of the UK, claimant count change forecast 10.3, actual was 0.7. Employment change down to 35k, so slightly weaker. But again, I'm just monitoring the US dollar at the moment, because although I still remain bullish on it, you can actually see has been a bit of downside, potentially looking like we could be getting a break of structure here. And I think if we do get a breakdown below probably this area, which is our fair value gap. Sorry. If we were to get a breakdown below this area on the US dollar, we might be in for a bit more downside, which maybe marries up to the fact that despite the pound seeing considerably weaker data, we're expecting an interest rate cut from the Bank of England as well. I think that's about 70%. We are still actually seeing a potential bottom being formed here, although the momentum is quite low. If you look at the hourly chart, we're not quite seeing, for me, enough evidence that we are reversing here. So what I'd like to see is a break above this high, and then we can maybe look for something that looks a little bit like that in the next sort of coming days. But as of right now, not too interested in getting involved in this. But as I've said it over the past week, my alert, my radar is ringing for potentially some dollar weakness, and I think a good market to try and trade that with would be the pound versus the US dollar, and also euro dollar as well, which is showing a bit more evidence. As you can see, this is the sort of thing that I was looking for. This is what I marked previously in the week, and this is ringing quite true. It is showing some momentum, so I'm still looking for something that looks like that. But as of yet, no trade that I'm looking to actively place on that. Now, oil is an interesting one as well, because as we know, we had a great trade on oil at the beginning of the year. It was the first trade that I placed, and we had a nice bullish breakout at the beginning of the year. But you can see some days of downside. Now, I'm looking for a potential scalp short opportunity, because we have had a really obvious gap that was formed here, and I'm wondering whether we can try and trade something like this. Now, the issue with doing that, right, straight off the bat, is that you can see that the bullish leg in this market, the most recent low, in my opinion, the real swing low, sits down here. So all the time that we trade above 72.8, I think we still could class this as bullish structure. We have had an initial break of this low down here, but is it enough to determine a wider fall in oil prices? I'm not too sure, if I'm being brutally honest. So maybe what's best to do is, which I'm going to do, is set an alert here at this fair value gap and just see how the market reacts. Because if we do get that reaction and a breakdown below, we can look for another order block that may be formed from this move lower, and then we can look to potentially target some oil downside in the next few weeks. And that's something that I'll be looking to do, as I say, not quite yet, but again, early signs. And trading for me on these 4-hour daily timeframes, which is the timeframes that I trade, because it's just a lot better in my opinion. I do believe that we are shaping up for potentially two things: maybe some dollar shorts and maybe some oil shorts as well. But as of right now, I'm going to continue to monitor the S&P 500 and the gold trades as we go, because I do think they've got still some more room to the upside, and that's my overriding opinion on these markets. I was briefly looking at the Nasdaq as well, which is pausing. This looks to me like it's potential, maybe even some sort of flag. Is this a pause to go higher? We shall see. I believe we've got some earnings coming up. Yes, we do. So overnight tonight, we've got Netflix's earnings. That was the thing I wanted to say. If we look at the Netflix stock, you can see quite clearly broadly bullish, right? But we have seen a little bit of a dip over really since the beginning of December last year. Is the earnings report today going to be a catalyst for Netflix stock to have another run higher, which would filter into probably some Nasdaq upside and a break above as well? Because this to me looks really threatening. Look at that. This to me looks really threatening for some more upside. So I think we're in an area of interest potentially to buy. If I wasn't already in an S&P 500 buy, I would look for some Nasdaq upside. But let's see what that earnings report comes out from Netflix stock later on tonight after the bell. So tomorrow's stream, I will break down that Netflix earnings report and see if we can get, depending on where the S&P 500 is, see if we can get any trades there as well. Okay. Right, so to summarize, we are running at, these are really nice sessions, aren't they? Because there's no stress to find a trade. I'm in two really nice trades. Gold upside I like still, of course. S&P 500 I still like to some upside. I've got my radar set for some dollar downside potentially, but that's not confirmed just yet. And we've also got the Netflix stock earnings as well coming out over the next few hours or so. So that could filter into some Nasdaq upside as well if the earnings report is strong. If it misses and it disappoints, then we could see some downside in those tech stocks, which are struggling to really keep up with the likes of the S&P 500, which is really broken out above that pattern, but the Nasdaq still remains a little bit sticky. Okay, thank you very much to those who tuned in. As I've said, if you do have any questions or want to get in touch with me, then feel free to do so in our Discord channel, where we've now got signals and also trade ideas going in there every single day for free. So make sure you come and join in and get involved in that. And until next time, trade well. I'll be on slightly earlier tomorrow because I'm getting on a flight later in the evening, and I won't be streaming then for the rest of the week until Monday, fingers crossed, when I've got all the equipment set up out there, because I've got to set all this up out there as well. So thank you very much for your patience in that time. Take care. Trade well.